Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The Scale Model Podcast is currently recorded bi-weekly and is available where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, as well as our website at www.scalemodelpodcast.com. Let us know if you have any comments or suggestions at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com or at our Facebook page at facebook.com/scalemodelpodcast. We also publish extra video content on our YouTube channel, and we also have a Patreon page at patreon.com/scalemodelpodcast. The money raised will be used to help offset web hosting and other costs. As the podcast grows, we hope to introduce giveaway and other bonuses to our Patreon supporters as a thank you for supporting the Scale Model Podcast. Welcome to episode 21 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Goodman Models. My name is Stuart Clark, and once again, I'm here with my estimable co-host, model show driver, and everything else in between, Mr. Anthony Goodman. How are you, sir?
Hello. I'm great. How are you doing tonight, Stu?
Not too bad at all. We've had a busy couple of weeks. First of all, we're going to give a shout out to our latest Patreon supporters, and Gary Sauce Me Cat, and that's about as best as I'm going to do.
Pretty good.
Gary did say in a nice email to me, he says, "Don't worry if you slaughter it." He gave us the best pronunciation he could. So Gary, hope that was pretty good. We're also including a link in the show notes to some of his builds he's done. He's done some pretty cool things. So one of his latest ones was a Tamiya HE162. So again, be like Gary and support the podcast on Patreon. Your ongoing contributions do help us with the ongoing hosting costs and future equipment purchases. So we do really appreciate Gary and everyone else's support who's been supporting the podcast. Okay.
Thanks to you, Gary. Yep.
Exactly. So let's get right into the latest news. And then we've got an interview later on, some Torcan news, all sorts of goodies, eh?
Yeah, lots of stuff happening.
Exactly. All right, let's get right to it. Hasegawa's July news. I don't know what happened to June with Hasegawa, but they just decided to go right into July. Bunch of unusual kits, including one I really like. I've seen this one before.
Ooh,
out of the Gundam world. This is the VF-31E Siegfried Chuck Hughes Macross Delta. So basically it's like a fighter plane from the Macross universe, but it's got it's got like an AWACS on top, AWACS radar thing.
Exactly.
And I've always liked this, and this looks pretty good. So this is the electronic warfare version of the in the Macross Delta, or should that be of the Macross Delta?
So Macross Delta was the latest series in the Macross franchise.
Oh, okay, so it's not.
So it came out, I think, just maybe 2 years ago.
It's not the plane.
No, Delta's a series. This is the
actual TV series.
This is the VF-31E type for electronic warfare.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get a couple different insignia choices. The Chaos Ragna branch, 3rd Battle Wing, Delta team, or the Chuck Mustang boarding aircraft.
Mm-hmm. This is pretty cool. I just like the look of it. So,
it's got that swept kind of Delta swept wing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite looking of the universe there. It's something I want to build at some point, but I also like the fact that it's got a radome on top.
Yeah, I think those radomes split apart. I think there's an image of it.
I see that there, yeah.
Like when it's fully deployed, it's kind of neat, and then it retracts, I guess, when it's in transport.
I always, just as an aside, I always think it's funny because the U.S. Navy, they started using, F-18s to replace a lot of different aircraft types.
Yeah.
So, you've got F-18s for fighters now, for tanker aircraft, for electronic warfare. Why not slap a radome on top of it and you can replace your AWACS aircraft?
Well, that's exactly the same sort of concept that they run with in Macross, where it's just a Valkyrie.
Yeah, exactly.
You're sort of wondering what type it was. It's just another, the very first Valkyrie was designated VF-1. So now we're up to VF-31. Exactly. I think the show takes place quite a number of years after the very first series.
Makes sense. I just like the look of this thing. So this is
very sleek.
So I'll keep an eye out. So 72nd scale, 4,200 yen. So yeah, look for that. Moving on. Now, the other thing I noticed out of Japan, the Japanese companies, they really have, there seems to be a demand for just like normal cars, like normal compact cars or,
Oh, like passenger cars.
yeah. Like, so
Yeah.
this is a Toyota
Yes.
Starlet Turbo S3 door. It's
I
late
love
production
that.
type, 124 scale. Yeah, it's like something you'd see, and it's not the only one I've seen, but it's really nicely
Yeah.
detailed. 1986 it was from nicely appointed seats and everything, all new mold.
I know
Uh,
what you're saying. Sort of like in the Western market, we want like unusual, unique,
or sports cars. Yeah,
Ferraris,
yeah,
sports cars,
yeah,
or cars you can't afford. But I've noticed that as well. That passenger cars seem to be of interest in the Japanese market.
yeah. It's interesting.
Just
There is a big demand for them. I noticed saw that
yeah,
some of that from the recent shows and that.
yeah.
So
Skylines and like
yeah,
classic '80s ones that were
exactly,
everywhere.
exactly. So this one's again 3,200 yen. And then moving on. Now they call these new, but these are actually reissues because I remember these when I was a kid. Two more
Oh
of
yeah.
their egg planes, but it's in a little diorama. So you've got one Japanese fighter and one Focke-Wulf 190. And the Focke-Wulf 190 is kind of cute because you've got Little Red Riding Hood below, and the wolf's flying the plane. So yeah, it's kind of the comic, the comical thing. The other one is what's the other one here? It's a Japanese fighter, a Zero fighter, and I don't know. It must be something from a series. Looks like the Abominable Snowman, not the Abominable. Like
I don't know who that character is, but like it
yes,
looks like Mount Fuji there
yeah,
in the
Mount
base.
Fuji and some cave guy, running around.
Must be
Also,
something.
yeah, they've got a few more below that. So you've got the Japanese, the Fire Monster F2 and the Midnight Witch T4. So
Hmm.
again, looks like Godzilla or that, and a little witch below that.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, these were always funny, always quite funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna move down a little bit more. Then we've got this one from Ultraman. I assume 124 scale. So it's a kit. It comes with it's a kit, and the kit's in 172nd scale, and then it comes with a resin
Okay.
figure. So the aircraft is the Jet Beetle,
Yeah.
and then you've got a 124th resin scale of a
That's
member.
Akiko.
Okay,
I think she's a character from like she's on
on the
there's like a
show or
special
something.
team.
Yeah, science. Yeah, that's what it says here. Of the full Fuji Akiko member of the Special Task Force. It reminds you of something you'd see in a Buck Rogers movie. The
Well,
aircraft.
this yeah, like it kind of has that look of Space
Yeah,
1999 or
yeah,
some
it's
of the
kind of
Jerry
neat.
Anderson
Yeah, I
designs.
like it. I like it.
And
It's neat.
it's from that era too,
Yeah,
right?
and it's on like a
Um
little launch stand. So it looks like
yeah.
you can display it in a different configuration. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And you get the figure and everything. And again, reasonable, 4,300 yen. That's
That's not a
about
bad
yeah.
price.
What's that roughly again?
That's probably about 45 bucks
Yeah, since
Canadian.
yeah, so that's not bad at all. Okay, so then moving on, we've got 172nd scale. Now, I forgot to look this up to see if this is something they were thinking about, but this is someone's taken an A10 Thunderbolt 2 and they've made a UAV out of it. So it looks like
No,
they've taken
this is real.
this is real or is it
I was looking at this. I believe this is a real thing.
okay, so they say it's theoretical here, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if someone's looking at it because it's a 72nd scale A10 and it looks like they've just, taken the cockpit out,
Yeah.
and put some cameras in and all that. So, yeah.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought this was yeah, like some kind of testing or X
Yeah, I wouldn't be
in the X
surprised if it's
stage.
something they've thought about. I don't know any more about it, and I confess I haven't looked it up. So maybe one of our
Yeah.
listeners can enlighten us.
It looks
Um,
really cool, eh? I think it's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's a different sort of thing. One step closer to what is it, the Terminator, taking over
Yeah, Skynet.
Skynet and all that. Yeah, yeah. What could go wrong? Really, what could go wrong?
I think it's a really neat.
Yeah, it's
And
a
the
neat.
A10 is so iconic,
It's a
right?
neat, and best of all, I don't have to worry about screwing up the canopy when I'm trying to mask it.
Yeah, there you go.
No cockpit to paint, and there you go. Yeah,
Well, it does sort of say it's giving you
so what if?
markings for like a what if
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah. So
scenario. So maybe it is just sort of
yeah. They haven't. I don't think they've made any. I'm sure someone's thought about it.
yeah.
Okay, then these ones maybe you know a bit more about. These they look like little robots, Little.
Oh, they're from the Mechatro line.
Okay, and this looks like you get two of them
Uh,
here.
yeah, I don't know much about this. I think it's just a line of, they're just sort of robots. Let's see
Yeah,
what it says here. Mechatro Mate by the model parent of Mechatro Wego.
yeah. So it looks like it's
So,
designed for younger modelers. No glue
yeah,
required.
Mr.
Mr. and
Oh, it's okay.
Mrs.
It's designed by this guy, Mr. I'm wondering if it's Mr. Kobayashi,
Hmm,
who maybe designed. Maybe he's a model maker or
maybe.
designer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a kit from the Mechatro WeGo.
Okay.
That is, it just has this fantastic. I'll put a picture up of it. A really
Okay.
fantastic box art, and it's just it's these kind of robots for
Right.
civilian use or whatever, and the
Right.
kids drive them
Yeah, I
like to
guess.
go to
Yeah, it makes
school.
sense. Makes sense.
And
So
that's
yeah.
it. There's no TV show that I know of. There's no comic book or something or TV series. It's just kind of
No,
like a fun
and
little flight of
the
fancy
price is
idea.
reasonable, about 4 centimeters in high,
Mhm.
1,600 yen. So it's about 17 bucks for both models. Movable joints, etc., etc. So yeah, it could be
Yeah,
neat. Okay, moving.
they'll be well engineered, I think.
Yeah, I think
I,
so, as always. Okay, moving on. I know we talked about this when it was first being talked about a couple of months ago. This is a Japanese combine harvester.
yeah,
It looks like it even comes with the farmer figure sitting inside. This is the Yanmar Combine. It's produced specifically for rice farming. The latest model by Yanmar has been turned into a kit by Hasegawa. So all new molding. Yeah, this thing, yeah, it's you can definitely tell it's something like to do with rice or something because, but then again, you could kit bash and you could make this thing something like, from the future or, you
it
know,
is from the future. This is
well,
incredible.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
it's some of the new
that's gonna be a stellar
technology.
kit too
Yeah,
by
that's going to be,
Hasegawa.
yeah. There's also a driver. There's going to be a driver of the machine there and stuff like that. So that again,
Uh,
I know we
Farmer
talked about it
Joe.
before. Yeah. So Hasegawa does a lot of neat stuff like this. I picked up
Yeah.
when we talk about Torcan, I'll talk about what I picked up that was kind of different.
Yes. Yeah. Another interesting
Yeah.
Hasegawa subject.
Yeah, off the beaten path. Moving on, looks like another YF-31 from Macross Delta the movie. So again, I assume it's a specific person's pilot's aircraft.
Yeah,
Very.
Kaname, the Buccaneer
Oh yeah,
color.
Kaname. Here we go. Yeah, that's quite the color scheme.
That's actually pretty vivid. So
Tactical
it looks like the
sound unit. Yeah.
Walkure. I haven't watched that show. I don't know all the
Yeah.
different sort of factions or.
Now
Uh,
you know it's neat. Although the kit is only aircraft, they do include a stand so you can display it in flight. So that's kind
oh,
of cool.
that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
tactical sound unit.
tactical. I know that's interesting. The markings it says there. So again, I love the look of this aircraft. It's
Oh,
almost one of
that's
those
yeah.
ones. If I ever saw a good deal on it, I'd pick it up. I didn't
Yeah, I
see
mean they're
over
not
there.
unreasonable, even
No.
sort of straight up
Yeah.
retail price.
I
Like
should just go and get
that's
one at some point. Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
one's about $50. I
Yeah.
wonder if it's a limited edition because it's a
Maybe.
little bit higher than the usuals.
Maybe something like that. So
And that stand you could buy separately. It
right.
was released a number of years ago.
Okay.
I believe the same one as a separate kit
Right. So
that you would get two of them for like 15 or 20
oh, that's
bucks in
cool.
a
Yeah.
kit box.
Yeah. It's neat the way they do it. So yeah. So that's it from Hasegawa. Quite a bit this month.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
It's
talk about round two. Round two models. They're big. They do all sorts of things. They've bought up a lot of some of the old moldings
Hmm?
and that over the years. So like
Yeah.
some of the old Hawk and Lindbergh, some of the old Aurora, Space 1999, stuff like that. So they had a blog, but they've got a great blog if you follow it on their website. They
Hmm?
have their Wonderfest preview, and I know you've been to Wonderfest before.
I have. Yeah, that's
Um,
coming up.
that's
Wonderfest
coming up.
30
Yep.
is
So
coming up this weekend.
right. One of the things they're talking about is a couple of things. They're going to be showing three new sci-fi pulp culture kits, starting out with the 1967 Impala from the TV series Supernatural.
Ooh,
That's a nice
cool.
looking car, yeah. So that's kind of cool. They've also been reviewing test shots. They're going to be doing a 22-inch Eagle 2. So again,
Nice.
yeah, their previous Eagle has been very well received. I have one of
Yes.
their Hawks from, I think it's a repop from MPC.
Yep.
So, yep. And then they've also going to be doing a 1/72nd scale Eagle. That one measures a little over 14-inch long. Will eventually replace the old 196 MPC model that's been
And
around.
those are brand new tooling, so it'll be looking sharp.
Molds, and it looks nice and crisp. So again, on the links there, we've got some links showing you what some of them look like. So yeah, all sorts of cool things here. They also, like I say, they do MPC, and I put a link to their Facebook page because there's a few things they've got. Looks like I know some of our local IPMS chapter were talking about this. A reissue of the AMT 1977 Ford Pinto, an old Schwinn bike, Godzilla. How about a 55 Cadillac Bel Air convertible, and also for the truck guys, an AMT double header, two 27-foot trailers. So all sorts of interesting stuff there. So
now I think round two usually has a presence at Wonderfest as well.
Yeah, they've always been there.
They're always a big sponsor of the show, and I think they always have a booth set up. And
so that's what they're definitely saying. So yeah, I think so that was nice of them to they're basically talking about what they're going to have there. And I know their Eagle was very, very well received.
Yeah, every time I've been down to Wonderfest, there's a ton of Eagles on the show tables, and a very popular subject. People obviously have a lot of love for that. And they also sell,
like I said, a lot of the Polar Lights, like they had recently, the 350th scale Klingon Katinka class battle cruiser from Star Trek The Motion Picture. One of our members had it out at the club a little while ago, Aaron, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. So definitely worth checking out. So that's some of that. Okay, now from HPH, these for the people that if your modeling's not big enough, there's people out there that take it to a new extreme. HPH, these are the ones that a couple of months ago they announced a 1/48 scale B36 Peacemaker. Okay, So those of you know how big this thing is. So this thing was, made of fiberglass, resin, because it needed to be that strong. Well, they decided, if we're going to do a B36, let's do a 1/48 scale B52.
Unbelievable.
Which is going to be absolutely huge. I think I saw it was 1,200, and they've already got pre-orders. 716 US. It's currently available for pre-order. Again, where the heck do you put this thing? This does not include the new wing of the house you need.
I suppose you hang it off the ceiling and you mount a motor on it. It becomes a ceiling fan.
Well, the problem is I'd worry about. I think you want to get a structural engineer first. Just to make sure the frame of the house can support it.
That's a pretty wild. Just the fact that this thing exists is pretty wild.
It's absolute. But again, I say these companies don't necessarily. Well, there's two things. They're not necessarily going to go to the thing of designing it if they don't think they're going to sell a few of them. They may not sell a ton.
Yeah, we were having that conversation on our drive to Torquay, right? About well, if you're going to produce such a limited, expensive model, like what's the end game in terms of your business plan? You're going to sell 500 and call it a day, or
for 700 something, US, if they sell 100. And depending on the profit margin there, that might be more than what they need, and at that point they've got the molds, right?
Yeah.
And again,
this could be something too that there's people out there who are maybe like Wingnut Wings, where they're passion projects for the people. They almost
and I know, like for example,
they want to see it.
They've done a C47 Skytrain 1/32 scale, and it's laminate and resin. Stuff like that. So they do an awful lot of, as you say, the larger subjects.
Yeah, there's probably some a passion project or a labor of love.
Yeah. The insanity
in kind of in this marketing here.
Yeah, the insanity projects I call them basically.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that's unusual, like a de Havilland Sea Hornet in 1/32 scale, 194 euros.
Wow.
Yeah, all sorts of weird and wonderful. So obviously, they can do small runs, and it works well for them. So, so if you've ever wanted a buff B52, now you do know what buff stands for, BUFF?
No, I don't actually.
Big, ugly, fat.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll let you put the last one in. Yeah, that's what it stood for. It's been around for so long. There used to be a joke: join the Air Force and fly the plane your father flew. Now it's fly the plane your grandfather flew, because I think it's still in service. Still in service, going strong.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. So yeah. Okay, Tamiya June releases. Not a ton, unless you're into RC. They have released a 124 scale Mazda 787B. So this is, I think I saw this at the show. This is like one of their IMSA Group C racing. Nice looking, machine if you're into that sort of thing.
Very sharp.
Yeah, not a lot of other stuff. A lot of stuff for kids. Now they did release another color in their figure accent color, like we use for, oils and that. They've got a pink brown now. So like they've got a gray, they've got a brown, and they've got a black. So this is what you'd use like an oil or to go in between the crevices.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a pink brown. So
this might be more like kind of a shadow. They're going for like a light shadow color here.
Yeah, or for figures or something like that. So they have
on the figures, like when you're doing your figure painting, it's all kind of shadows and highlights, and so it's like a pre-made light, medium shadow, and there's like a dark. Usually there's like a dark shadow and a bunch of highlight colors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I wonder if this is acrylic or.
This will be no. This stuff's enamel, if I recall. I've got the other ones. It's an enamel because, it's also known as the Panaline accent color. I don't know why they call it something different here.
But, it's figure accent color.
Yeah, so it's designed for figures.
It's the same material but different application.
So no, it's an acrylic because I remember reading up on it. You got to be careful, what you have underneath or whatever. So what you would do is you normally put this on and put a little dash of acrylic thinner over it, like to get it back off. So it's a little bit different than like your traditional water wash or whatever. No, I've used the black ones a couple of times, and they're very good. I've got do I have the gray? No, I don't have the gray yet. I've got the black and the brown, and they both work quite well.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad. So
that's very interesting.
Yep. So that's from our friends at Tamiya. And again, if you're into RC and stuff like that, they got an absolute ton of new stuff out this month. People forget they're big into RC in a huge way.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's quite a popular aspect of the hobby. We don't talk much about it, but
RC
certainly there's lots of people enjoying that and working in that kind of format.
It's a whole separate thing, exactly. Okay, our friends at AK Interactive, they've got some new items this month. As the Modeling News pointed out, they've got kind of the winter theme. So they've got a winter, actually I'm doing this in the wrong order. I'm going to start with their Beginner's Guide to Modeling. This is a 140-page softcover book in both English and Spanish. 12 euros. Kind of right from scratch. Everything you need to know, beautifully illustrated as always.
These books are fantastic.
They are absolutely fantastic. So that's kind of cool. And then their Tanker Techniques magazine special. The topic is winter, 22 euros, 220 pages. Winter can be very challenging to model. It's one of the more challenging things to do.
Yeah, I need a few techniques for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely different than your traditional technique. So, again, if you want to see how to do it, there's some really good ideas. Looks like, everything you need for both World War II. They've got some articles on modern tanks, how they would look. Anything to do with winter, like how to weather it up, buildings and stuff like that. To go with that, they have a winter weathering set looks like they've got a mix here. Looks like it's 3 acrylics and 1 enamel. So they've got the snow texture, the washable white paint, and the worn effects are acrylic, but then they have the winter streaking grime, which is an enamel. And that's about just under 13 euros through their website. They've also got some new masking tapes. So it's a rice paper tape. So I bet it's similar to the Tamiya tape.
Interesting. Tamiya tape's amazing, right?
Yeah. So they've got 2, 3, 5, 12, and 18 millimeters now available. And they're calling it a rice paper tape, which I think is similar. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yep. So that's kind of cool.
That magazine looks fantastic. Winter.
Yeah, it does. It does. Very much so. They've also got some more weathering material, lime dry leaves, not weeds. High quality CO2 laser cut lime dry leaves. Distinctive and ultra realistic touch. Just under 5 euros. Looks like a good size package there. Realistic green moss. Realistic dark green moss. backwater tufts, so all sorts of things. Maple red leaves. So yeah, all sorts of things you can get.
Those are great. Those little things that you can use to spice up your vignette or your ground work or diorama, they're great.
Exactly. So yeah, check those out at your local dealer. I just wanted to briefly touch on some new arrivals at Airfix. A lot of this is old news, but the first of their 135th Armor releases have come out this month. All three of these are Academy reboxes. So the M3 Stuart, the Panzer light tank is the 35T, and the Tiger one, the early version. So as I said, these are all Academy releases. So if you have the Academy ones, you've essentially seen that. A few more figures they've released. They're re-releasing their astronaut figures, which I think
the
is
astronauts.
Hilarious. Now, I wonder if it's the same soft, bendy plastic that their older figures were. I still have that.
Those were terrible. You couldn't paint those.
Absolutely terrible. They've got some of the various Luftwaffe, U.S. Air Force, and RAF personnel. So, yeah, I hope they've improved.
I'm sure. If they have control over the molds, they can put in different material, right? So it must be proper polystyrene, I'd imagine.
I hope so. Yeah, and then some of the more recent stuff, they've got a Hawker Sea Fury in 148 scale and a Brister Blenheim in 148. So, yep. So again, more stuff coming from our friends at Airfix. Okay, moving on to Mini Art. We had a nice chat with them, actually. They had their local distributors there with some of the new products. We actually, a little bit later in Toronto at the Torque.
For our listeners, we were in Toronto on the weekend, and that's where Stuart
we saw
had a chat.
Yep, and we're going to talk a little bit about them. We actually had a good interview with them, so we're going to play that in a little bit. But just a couple of things coming out of them. A lot of people are looking forward to the Grant Mark I with the full interior, 135th scale. There was a lot of interest there. They had some mock-ups there, so that was kind of fun to see.
How'd it look?
It looked damn nice. Again, it's not my tank, not my favorite tank, but it's got its fans just like the Tigers, and there was quite a bit of interest even when I was standing there for a few minutes. Also, they had a really nice looking U.S. bulldozer. They had a bunch of stuff completed, and we're going to have, again, with the show notes, I'm going to throw some pictures up of their stand. So they had some good stuff, and we've covered Mini Art before. They have all sorts of things. Like they do a lot of accessories like barrels and signs and bottles of wine,
tank crews,
and a lot of figures known for their miniatures. They're out of the Ukraine originally, but this Grant is workable tanks, full engine, fully detailed fighting compartment. All hatches can be posed open or closed, photo etch, clear parts, 8 variants in the decal sheet.
Cool.
British rucksacks, bags, and folded canvas included. So, yeah, this is coming very soon, and I heard them mention that a few times. So definitely a little bit of interest in that. And I think they're also working on the Lee as well, which are kind of similar stuff, just slight variations.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, I've got that in the show notes as well. So, very, very cool. Okay. Now, a couple of things from you. So we have the Diorama Mag. Yeah, as I completely.
That's a tough one, eh?
Yeah. Go for it.
Diorama Mag.
Yeah, that's it.
So this caught my eye. It's a Japanese publication from Pla Editions, and this is Volume 3, the Japanese edition, and it's coming out in June. It's $29.54 Canadian, June release. It has some just beautiful dioramas of Japanese ground self-defense force subjects, and really neat like that. The one image on the cover is I'm not sure what that is, a type, but it's sort of splashing what is
it's like an
APC?
APC of some sort. Yeah, and then the
and
second
it's splashing through kind of like a puddle, so you see the water
very realistic
arcing up.
Yeah.
It's quite a stunning effect.
If you go to the second picture of the link you had, you can see the side view of that.
Yeah, it's neat how they did that.
Absolutely
so
gorgeous.
That kind of stuff is really. Oh, that's the Type 97, right?
Yeah, maybe. I think it might be.
It's sort of that. It's a wheeled, IFV with a turret.
Yeah.
But some beautiful stuff in there, and they're obviously focusing on the. Oh, it's actually some different. I was just looking through the link there. There's like there's sort of a World War II
aircraft,
German plane diorama.
aircraft,
Looks
like
quite interesting, and
looks
some ships.
Yeah.
700 scale diorama.
A Sherman from box art diorama. Someone's taken some of the box art of some kits, like the one there, the Sherman. That's from, I think, the Tamiya one, and the one below, I think, is the Takom kit of the King Tiger. But again, it's from the box art. They're actually taking the box art, and
that's neat.
And they've accurately duplicated it. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I'm not sure who the builders are that they're focusing on, but this looks like a really like sort of high quality, really inspirational stuff. So I thought it was kind of worth mentioning.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Some other neat stuff that popped up was a new model of 35th scale Centurion Mark III. So that's the Korean War era from AFE Club.
Very nice.
That's a July release, and it's going to be 61.64 Canadian. And that looks really cool. I know lots of people really enjoy the Centurion, and it had kind of a really long service history, right?
It did. Yep. So that'll be neat.
I mean, are there still some around somewhere?
Oh, probably.
Kind of thinking of. That looked quite good.
You keep going, and I'll look it up.
Yeah, so that's coming out in July, and there was a couple other neat. I'm not sure I added them in there, but a couple other interesting crew, like tank crew kits coming out from AFE Club that looked really good too, and some other neat stuff that popped up was the Last Phantom 302 SQ. It's a DVD by Platts. And that's coming out in June, and it's 38.53 Canadian. I don't know if that would be region, like only Japan region, but that's sort of like a video about, I don't know, I'm assuming the last in-service Phantoms.
Okay.
And they just have the most beautiful paint schemes. And so the Japan acquired a bunch of Phantoms kind of like from the US, and I think they kept them going a lot longer than the US did in service.
Right.
So this is like a kind of a reference document where maybe you get some good shots, some good in-flight action scenes, and walk around video, that kind of thing.
Yep, very cool.
So yeah, you probably need a region-free player, but it looks great. Like the schemes they have on those final Phantoms.
Well, and again, Phantom fans are just everywhere.
They had so many really unique and interesting color variations for the Phantom.
Well, as they used to say in the Air Force, the F4 Phantom, proof positive. You put enough power in it, even a brick will fly.
Yeah. But beautiful at the same time, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember at the London Air Show years ago when I was a kid, these things would come by just belching black, a black trail of smoke and whatever, and the sound. It was actually, here's a little bit of a side story. Again, at the London Air Show years ago in our local area, we always have had a really good air show. A Air Force Reserve one came over, and he kind of did a surprise run from the right and back of the crowd over the field. And it hasn't been confirmed, never been officially confirmed, but there were a few broken windows in one of the hangars, shall we say. So we say he probably just touched Mach 1.
Oh, that's amazing.
He was moving.
Wow.
I remember being by that hangar, and he was, you felt, it was like a wall. You felt it more than
That's amazing.
Yeah, just absolutely amazing. So that's
just
quite
a powerful bird, eh?
Oh, very powerful. Yep.
Very cool. And some other interesting. So we were just discussing this earlier before we started recording, but for our car listeners, there's a very interesting listing for a 125th 1977 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am from MPC coming out or possibly being reissued. We weren't sure if this was a new
June release. I think this is a repop, and again, this will be from round 2 because they're repopping a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Pinto before, so I think this is a repop. But again, it was a good kit. I knew people that had this kit. This is a good kit. I remember when these cars were a dime a dozen.
I remember being a kid and building a Firebird.
Yeah, because everyone wanted a black one. Everyone wanted a black Trans Am, just like Burt Reynolds and Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, that was the one, eh?
That's the one.
So, and this one is now the price that we found was $59.59 Canadian, and we were wondering because that seems really steep for an older.
Well, this is
reissue.
from HobbyLink Japan, so it's being shipped over and then shipped back. And I've seen it lower in other places. Yeah. So,
could be.
Yeah.
Now is MPC got done? Is round two
I
is
think
taking
round
care
two.
of distribution, or
I think round two may have bought them. I would have to look into it. I'm sure someone who knows if it's completely different. I'm sure someone right now, as we speak, is screaming into their computer, going, "No, you idiots!
yes?
It's this." So instead of
Please update
screaming in
us,
your
listeners,
computers,
because there's a
please.
lot of MPC listings still, so it appears that
Yeah,
they're active,
I
but
think
maybe
they
they're
were
all
bought.
just
Yeah, model. Yeah, here we go. Model Products Corporation. Um, I'm just seeing here. 1985. They were purchased by Ertl.
remember it was
Issued.
MPC Ertl for a long time.
Yeah, they were. Round two has them
Okay, so round two just carrying on, and they're
carrying on,
reissuing
and
the
they've got the
catalog.
molds, and
There's
yeah,
quite a few things available. Again, lots of Space 1999 Eagles, different versions,
yeah,
funny cars, the Amazing Spider-Man 1/8 scale.
yeah.
Bear,
You know,
yeah,
it's interesting. We should probably at some point. This might be an idea. Maybe we'll start doing a little bit of a history of some of these
yeah,
companies when we can find them, because there's quite a bit
definitely,
here on about them, especially some of the car ones. It's always kind of fascinating. So yeah, round two bought them,
sure.
and again they have the molds, so they are reissuing.
Okay,
And a lot of people are happy for that, especially the car guys, because again, these are some classic kits. And I know
yeah, they're available.
I know this one in particular. I remember seeing a review of it. The decal scheme. You have three different colors of what they call the chicken, of the
Hmm.
bird. So three different types of paint you can have on and all that. So it's a nice looking kit.
That's awesome. Now the schemes they give you must have been based on
They were based on
real
production.
prototype
Yeah, they're
cars.
based on production cars. So
Yeah.
again, they've got three different colors of the chicken, and whatnot. So yeah, yeah,
That's cool. Yeah, really
yeah,
neat.
yeah.
And then the last thing that I added to the list there was the new edition of Gundam Weapons. Now, Gundam Weapons is a fantastic publication put up by Hobby Japan, and they've been doing it for. I think the first one must have come out maybe in the early to mid 2000s that I recall.
Okay.
Um, and they were focused on Gundam, and they would go through a couple. They'd be centered on a kit or two from or maybe several kits from
Right.
one series,
Okay.
and they would be done up by um, some famous modelers and a lot of Hobby Japan staff. And
Right.
they would do dioramas, and then they would do like how-to breakdowns of like what
Okay.
you were seeing in the photo spreads.
Right.
And they're just an awesome reference.
Very cool.
Um, yeah, and it used to be that they would do an issue um, on sort of like one mobile suit, and
Okay.
then later on they were doing editions based on like a series.
All right.
So the latest one coming out here is the Gundam Weapons Mobile Suit Gundam F91 edition, and
Okay.
Formula 91 was a film that came out in I think 1990 or 1991,
Right.
and they've had a lot of kits come out from that film
Okay.
in the past. I would say 3 or 4 years, sort of doing putting some of the kits that were never some of the designs that were never kitted, getting them done, and then actually redoing and updating some of the older kit designs into like a more accurate, brand new state of the art kits.
Okay.
So that's 3467 Canadian, and I think that's also a June release.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, those books are awesome. They're just beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're like
A lot of
larger.
photography because which is good because all the text is in Japanese.
It is, but you can.
Figure it
I
out.
always now you have those really cool Google apps where you can take a picture of the
Yep.
page
And
and
it
it translates it
Yeah,
for you.
that's
I need
kind
to
of
go
wild.
back through all my cool
Yeah, you can do
Japanese
that.
magazines
You can
and
see
see
if
what
they
they're
were saying.
saying.
You can see if they were saying nasty things about the English or about the
Oh,
Americans. Exactly.
well, they I mean, a lot of even the how-to sections
Right.
are you can follow along.
Yeah.
I've
Right.
figured out a lot of stuff from just sort of going through it
Right.
and seeing kind of if they a lot of times it was modifications to the kits, right?
Right.
So if they were trying to improve proportions or maybe give them some kind of mobility they didn't have before.
Right. Okay.
So
Okay.
adding ball joints where there used to be a peg,
Right.
so you can get a full range of motion, so you can pose them in a specific way. So you get to see some of the master builders of the time,
Right.
what they were doing to these kits to kind of bring them up to, a show worthy kind of level. So they're fantastic. They're really
Hmm.
inspirational. Give you all kinds of cool reference
Very
materials,
cool.
and they're really I must have about 10, and I'm sure there's about 50 of them by now.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're
very cool.
great.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, we're just going to finish up with what's. Oh, I should mention when you were talking. Looked up the Centurion. There are still 3 countries that use them.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's interesting. They've taken parts. So Israel, the gun tanks have been retired. Many hulls were converted to APCs. Jordan, the chassis was reused for the modern Temsa APC. And South Africa in service as the locally developed and upgraded MK1 and Mark II Oliphant. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
I knew they were still in service.
yeah, they're
Like they've
still in
been
service. Well,
sold
they were in the
secondhand
Gulf
kind of
War.
thing.
Yeah, like they were used in the Gulf War. Britain, I think, still had a couple of them there. So yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yep,
and they were
yep,
the last like sort of Western world to have keep them going,
yep,
right?
yep, exactly. No, they're a very well made tank. The Australians used them and tons like that. Okay, Scalemates, hot kits. A couple of new things here. Tamiya has their Hummel late. That's moved up a bit. I see this Sukhoi 57 Fraser by Kitty Hawk. This one looks like it's been released. Going to be out in 2 years. I know some people have a lot of evil things to say about Kitty Hawk, but it's
So must be
I
so
love the
this
Sukhoi
CAD
57.
drawings.
It looks very futuristic. Star Wars Bandai 5000 destroyers with the LED. Kitty Hawk again, 2020, a Sukhoi 25 Frogfoot. That's their equivalent of the A-10 ground attack aircraft. 2020. Oh yeah, a couple of manufacturers. They're coming out with some Shermans. We seem to have a few new Shermans going to be coming out, and we'll probably talk about them in the next episode. Ryefield models. Asuka has one coming out in 2019. So a few of them around. We talked about the Eagle Transporter in 172nd scale. 127th. Can you imagine how big that would be? More
Yeah.
Shermans, trumpeters. Going to be releasing a new tool of the Avro Vulcan. B Mark II in 1/144 scale. I know a lot of people would like Airfix to release one in 1/72nd scale.
That'd be massive.
It would be massive, but there's a lot of English guys that would just
Yeah.
love it. Now, you know what's interesting here? They've reissued. You remember we were talking about how Hasegawa does some weird and wild things.
Yeah.
This one's on my list, the Voyager. I talked about this when we were
Oh
driving
yeah,
back.
that's right.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to change some parts for 2019. They're reissuing it. So that'll be neat. I know there's a very good photo etch set for that one too.
I think you have to have the photo etch
To really for some of the stuff, yeah, that's what
yeah.
I've heard. We're talking about Centurion, yeah, the AFE Club Centurion. Oh yeah, and here's the one you were talking about, Object 279. This was a Soviet. This was like a Soviet paper tank, and it was designed to be, an NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical,
Yeah.
and
But
protect
there
them.
was a real one. I think they
Was there?
actually
Okay.
prototyped it.
All right. It just looks like something that would take flight, just the
It,
way
it
it
does kind of
looks.
look like the legs will grow and then it
Yeah.
will transform.
It's like a boat hull or something like that. So yeah, so all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
As usual, check it out. Always lots of neat things. Oh, I should mention one other one because we talk about all things Lancaster here. Hong Kong models officially released, or they've announced released. They are going to make a Dambuster version of their 1/32nd scale Lancaster.
Cool.
I think it's because Wingnut's going to do one, so they've decided. I'm not surprised. It was probably already being planned.
Yeah. Why not? Like once you've invested in the molds like that,
Yeah.
you gotta
And
get
the
your
Lancaster,
mileage,
the
right?
Dambuster edition is just, everyone
Mark
thinks of
B,
that.
Mark III.
Yeah, it's just, everyone
That's the
thinks
one
of
I
that.
want to build.
The Dambuster is one of the Mark III.
Yeah. Well, isn't the Dambuster one is a Mark III, right?
Yeah, well, no, what it was a heavily modified Mark III. So what they did was they had to
So there's
take out,
regular Mark IIIs, and
Yeah.
then there was the
so the Dambuster one,
style.
because of the weight of the bomb, they had to take out the top turret.
Yeah.
And they had to take out the bomb bay doors and they put the unique tool in for the upkeep bomb, which would spin it. So it would do like a backspin when they would drop it. They also had to add spotlights. I heavily recommend, if you haven't watched the original Dambusters movies from way back in the late 50s,
It's still a good film. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I love it. And again, George Lucas, that was his big inspiration for the old attack on the Death Star. you actually hear some similar lines of dialogue that was in the original Dam Busters movie. He basically just took them right from there and plucked them right in for the first Star Wars movie.
Very cool.
So yeah, that's very cool as well. So yeah, so very, very good. Okay, so that is all the what's new. A lot of news again.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's move on to our topic. So yeah, we went to another model show.
We did. We had a great time.
Yep. So we took our buddy Steve. There was 3 of us, the 3 Musketeers.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony drove the van. We had absolutely torrential rain. So,
or the 3 Amigos.
Yep. It's called Torcan for like tour convention, but it's actually in Brampton, which is just west of Toronto, west of the airport. So it's normally about an hour and 45 minutes. We were 2.5 hours getting there because we frankly drove in torrential rain. Absolutely torrential rain.
Yep.
There and back. But as always, Peel Scale Modelers and IPMS Canada chapter put on an absolutely fantastic show.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Yep. You were out demoing again with our good friends from FlexiFile and Alpha Abrasives.
Yeah.
Doing that.
I had a great time doing that demo. Always love to see the good people from FlexiFile.
Exactly. And you had a lot of interest with your product. Every time I went by and you were doing demos, you had a little crowd around you. So I was pleased about that. So that was neat. That was neat to see. A ton of people there. Also, as like before when we were at HeritageCon, it's nice just to see people come up to us because we have little name tags and say, "Hey, you guys are the podcast guys."
Yeah,
and at that point, they
very nice to be recognized.
Yeah, and they didn't throw a punch at that point or insult us.
Nope. They seemed to like what we were doing.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really good. Oh, I do have to do a shout out. I think I mentioned it twice now at the HeritageCon show in Hamilton a couple of months ago. I was really blown away about some of the junior categories, and one in particular. It was one of those Ming Toon mini like cartoon tanks where they take like a standard Toon tank and they kind of shrink it, make it cute. There was this absolutely gorgeous one there in purple and pink, painted by a little girl by one of the members of IPMS Hamilton. Well, her father came up to me and said, "Oh, my daughter heard her tank being mentioned," and we had a good chat, and he's a master modeler himself. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to Olivia. And I was, again, just a shout out to you again. You did an awesome job. You keep going. So apparently your dad was saying like, he taught her how to airbrush. She learned how to airbrush. Dad mixed the paint, but she actually put the paint on. And she's 5 years old, if you can believe it. So good for you, Olivia.
Yep, keep up the good work.
And you just to keep enjoying whatever you want to build. Now I hear a rumor. I think your dad may have bought you another tank. That is a possibility. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling the surprise, Dad. If I am, I do apologize. Not really, no, but because this way you'll have to give her the model now. So yeah, I did want to do a quick shout out there.
Yeah.
Budget wise, we weren't bad. I did keep under budget, believe it or not. I was being good.
Good for you.
So I ended up.
It's tough to do.
It is. I ended up picking up the last set of weathering pencils 5-pack. There, I got the chipping and aging set I wanted to pick up.
Nice.
I picked up as well, again, something I didn't intend to, a Revell 128th World War I fighter, the SPAD 13. Just because I've got some easy, I want to try some rigging. This is a fairly simple kit, and if I screw it up, I screw it up, but I'm only out $10. But it's a large enough scale that I can play around and not go blind.
You just got to do it. You got to jump in and give
the
it a
other
shot.
one was from Hasegawa, and again, talking about unusual subjects, which I didn't know I knew Hasegawa did some weird and wild things, like the Voyager kit and stuff like that. This one is a deep sea submersible, the Shinkai 6500 in 1/72nd scale, and I saw this, and I just went, very cool. I must have it. It must be mine. So again, I picked it up for $20, so that looks interesting.
Yeah, it's a great price.
Yeah, and then the other unusual one, and again, maybe some of our audience can help us. It's a 1/48 scale twin pack, and it's from Tamiya. It's in a white box, and this one is a 48 scale Bristol Bullfighter, which I've wanted to build in that scale anyway. And it also comes with a Bren Universal carrier, like a little armored carrier.
Now, is it like the Allied Universal carrier?
Yeah, it's a little Bren gun carrier. So, you could tow the plane sort of thing. It's just, again, and I was doing a little bit of search. Looks like there's about 4 or 5 other ones of these twin packs of various things with an aircraft, either with another small like towing tractor or some troops or something like that. Like one was a P-47 Thunderbolt with a bunch of troops. And it's not aircrew, it's just troops. It's like kind of strange, all in the same scale.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to find some information of it. And other than some of the different ones, I haven't really found anything. So if you know anything about this, like we've heard of white boxes before and stuff like that. And these are a white plain box, but I've never heard of these twin packs before. So yeah, if anyone knows about them, please fill us in, let us know. Again, leave a comment on the Facebook page or scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. Okay, how about you, Mr. Anthony? How were you bad?
Oh, I made out like a bandit. I found all kinds of cool stuff. So I got a set of the chipping and aging set pencils.
Yes.
From Angelo at Sunward Hobbies.
That's because you got tired of me going on about them.
Yeah. Oh, well, they look awesome. Mm-hmm. So I also found some plastic putty by Vallejo.
Oh yeah.
And I had seen a demo of this stuff being used, like a demo video produced by Vallejo, and I thought it looked really cool. So I mean, I have all kinds of putty, but I picked that up from Sunward, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. I will post some pictures of that.
Very good.
But it looked really neat. It has a very thin applicator, and the way they were using it, it seems like it flows really nicely, and it's very paintable and all that kind of thing. So we'll have to see. There's a couple things that really piqued my interest on that.
Is this the one? Because I remember you were talking about it, but then we were both having a senior moment because you couldn't remember the brand name. Now I have. Is it come in the same bottle as the paints?
No, it is a squeezed tube.
It's a different,
but it has a very pointed tip.
It might be similar because I've got plastic putty from Vallejo. I think it's about a year old, and it's in the same type of thing as the paint bottles. And
okay.
And I did enjoy it. It's water based. The only thing I found, and again, maybe they've changed it. Some people had some criticism. It does shrink a bit, but again, it's easy to put on in layers and that. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what your
So this one this one is product number 70.401, and it's 100% acrylic resin. And just looking at the label here, it says it's
mine's 400 plastic.
Okay, it's just sort of different, right?
Different. Okay, very cool.
White acrylic putty, water-based marble dust, dries to a hard surface which can be painted, sculpted, fill in seams, create and build up correct details. So what I saw the guy doing, which was quite interesting in the video that I watched, was he was working on a tank, I think a modern Russian tank, and the kit had grab handles. And I've seen this before a million times where it's like they give you holes to mount your grab handle or some fiddly part. Okay. And then when you put it in there, the part is smaller than the hole. So you kind of have that weird pit.
Right.
And he was like just using the applicator on the tip to go around that to fill it in. And it looked amazing. And I thought, I'll try that.
Give that a whirl.
So I did find that.
Okay.
I found something I've been hunting for a super long time, which is the Tamiya Modern Accessories pack, which I believe is out of print, and I finally found it.
Now this is for like modern infantry accessories.
Yeah, I'll tell you what comes in the box.
Yeah.
I'm sure. See, this is a class. I think probably a lot of people have this.
Into the vast vaults of Goodman models.
Yeah. So there's two of these kits, and I believe this one's out of print. So obviously finding a show was a good score.
Right.
It's 1/35th scale. It's called the Modern U.S. Accessory Set, and inside there's like ammo boxes, jerry cans. It's got the Hoffman device, that training.
Oh yeah.
Thing. It's got acetylene tank, oxygen bottles, a vise. And then, it's got MRE packs and ammunition boxes and a whole bunch of different like tank shells.
Cool.
And treads and boxes and guns and
all sorts of goodies.
Packs. Yeah, I love these things. I think they're just really neat. And for $10, can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that. Okay. And we should also add, we did find something else that we
did find a last minute purchase.
A last minute purchase for
the Musaru Cup.
Yes, which we've seemed to have decided that's what we're going to call it.
I think that everyone's happy with that. The other guys seem down on the bench.
Yes.
They seem to be happy with that one.
So we should just review. We gave Ian a challenge to build a Gundam because he was mocking Gundams a little bit, and he graciously said okay, and he looked like he's picked himself up a good one, but then he countered with he wanted someone to build a late 60s muscle car. Preferably, he was hoping for a Mopar, but he didn't really mind. And we managed to find something pretty good.
Yeah, I think you actually sniffed this one out for me. We're looking at the end of the day. So I have here an AMT 1/25th scale, 1968 Shelby GT500.
Yeah, that's a nice car.
Looks amazing. Looks awesome. I hope that will tickle Ian's fancy and the boys down on the bench. I'm looking forward to building this.
Yeah, and just think of the fun you'll have with the color selection.
Yeah, I think I'll try and see if there's some, something, some photo references out there. Something, and looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, this looked like a lot. You could do it something similar to the car from Bullitt, for example, because it was a Mustang.
Yeah.
It was a Mustang.
Is that?
Yeah, it's a Ford. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So, no, it's like I said, nice looking car. All sorts of things you can do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's an interesting note. We were discussing round 2 on this. I'm just looking at the side of the box here. This is an AMT kit, but it says AMT by round 2.
Yeah. See, they bought them.
Quite interesting. I didn't know that. That's obviously been happening for quite a while.
Yeah, they've had the molds, like I said, at least since 2011. So I think they've been doing slowly but surely some reissues, and because again, some of these kits are classic, and you don't really need to redo them. In a lot of ways, they were really well done to begin with. So you're gonna get started on that. And if I see something from that era that tickles my fancy, I'll pick it up as well. I didn't really see anything that really caught my eye, but again, you never know what you find. So in addition, as I said earlier, we had a good chat with Mark and Daniel. They're from the Canadian distributors of Mini Art. And we had a good interview with them where we talked about a lot of what's coming new, the state of the hobby, my usual questions I asked, of course, what's on the bench and where do you see the hobby in 5 years? And again, a really good interview from both of them. So we're just going to play that for you right now. All right, Stuart here. We're here at the Torcan convention in beautiful Brampton, Ontario. Slightly damp day, but I'm here. Just slightly. I'm here at the Mini Art booth, and I'm with...
You're here with Daniel and Mark.
And they've got an awesome display here. I've taken some photos. We're going to put that up on the links to the show page. What I want you guys to tell us is, because we featured a lot of new releases you guys have had in the past. Tell us what people are talking about today.
I think the biggest excitement at our booth today is probably around 2 new items that Mini Art has brought out this year. The first one is the M3 Grant. And everyone, we actually have a big poster of it up today, and everyone's coming by and pointing at the poster and saying, "Where do I get one of those from?" Right? And how much is it?
Yeah, so standard 2 questions.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then the Grant is new. It's we don't actually have it in stock today, unfortunately, but it's on its way shipping. So that's going to be great. And then the one that we actually have built today is a fantastic U.S. bulldozer.
Right.
And it's great to see. It's great to see the tanks and the trucks, but our bulldozer is front and center, nice and yellow.
Right.
And I have to say that's the one that's been most taken of a photography today.
Yep.
Everyone's getting a picture of that. So make sure you post that up today, Stuart.
We'll definitely get a picture of that. Well, that's one thing I've noticed. There's a lot of people that it's not just tanks, soft skin vehicles, other things. Like you guys came out with that great crane for the V2 rocket and the tank, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And so Mini Art really tries to differentiate in different areas.
Right.
I mean, it's great that it's still got this standard, World War II, and people love that. But I really think to differentiate, to go with the cranes and the bulldozers, and as you said, I mean, we're obviously very big into figurines, and that's obviously going to be our focus still. We were just at a show in Japan, and even the Japanese were coming out up and just saying how much they love the Mini Art
That was an awesome
figurine.
show.
Yeah,
we saw some
figurine. So
pictures of that. But you had fun there, right?
Yeah, it was great. So obviously we're still really largely focused on our figurines, but we're trying to really differentiate and get into other areas. And I think, as you said, Stuart, the crane is a big interesting item.
Yeah, we've heard a lot.
A lot of the people that I've been speaking with really like the interior kit that they've been doing as well. It's highly detailed. A lot of them are injection molded. They still do the poly etch parts for say the gearboxes. They look great, especially when everything's painted. And a lot of people are also speaking about the accessories. So there's the jerry cans from World War II, the workbenches. Everyone's like, wow, these things exist, because you only use them for your mini art kits. You got your collection, your diorama at home. It's something specifically you've been looking for. You finally found it, and you're going crazy.
Snap it right
Talking to so many guys about that today.
It's incredible, some of the dioramas that are being built with some of them. They're absolutely incredible.
This is one thing I love about coming to the show. Everyone loves coming to the vendors area, but also the builds that are on the tables are just always absolutely stunning. That's one thing we like. Okay, so just to wrap up, we always ask two questions. We always ask, what's on your bench?
Yeah.
So we'll ask you guys that first. Do you have anything on your bench right now? Do you have time?
I do. So maybe it's a little bit old school, but I have a Bismarck,
Awesome.
and it's taken me quite some time because I'm doing it right. I've been waiting for a while to do this because it's a big build.
Yep.
So my wife is getting to the point where it's like, because I've kind of got it front and center, and she's like, "How long is this taking?" But I'm like, "Baby, I'm doing the if you're doing the Bismarck, you're doing it right."
This is the 350th.
Yeah,
one, or?
the 350th
Big
one.
Kit.
Big kit, really big
Yeah.
kit. So,
Yeah.
and I actually have a bulldozer
awesome.
back to
Right.
because
Perfect.
again, just it's great to do the historical models, but doing a bulldozer is just
different.
it's just kind of
Learn the
fun.
weathering and all that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
All right,
So-
what about you?
So for me, I currently have nothing sitting on my bench, but I have about 10 different built-up models from the different series, and I'm actually doing photography at the office for them right now, so we can get it up on the side and really
Awesome.
show off. So when you build these models, they're not colored, they're not painted yet, but then it's up to your imagination. And we've done some really, really nice kits. When you see the pictures, you'll see what we're talking about.
Excellent.
So I'm going to be doing some professional photography in the office on them to get them up on the side.
Good stuff.
All that stuff. All the
Okay,
merchandising.
great. Okay, one last question. This is always the one that's sometimes full of controversy.
Yeah.
But there's no right answer, no wrong answer. Where do you guys see the hobby in 5 to 10 years?
It's funny. You talk to a lot of people, and they say, "Oh, you're into plastic models, you're into hobbies," and they kind of give you that quizzical look. Why wouldn't you be on internet gaming,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
But for me, and again, I was in Japan a couple of weeks ago. I was in Germany in January, and the interest out there is still massive. It really is. And I think there's only, nothing wrong with internet gaming, but to actually be able to sit down and touch and feel it and engage with it, and then show, at the end of, doing 5 hours of internet gaming, what do you have to show?
Yep.
Versus a hobby or a model like we have today is something, and I have them in my office and I have them on my shelves, and I'm proud of them. I think it looks good. So I think the future is really, really positive for it. And some of the things, I think, as we talked about earlier, Stuart, that the mini art especially is getting into, I think it's just broadening it's just different divisions, if you will, and I think that's good for the industry.
Good.
I don't think it's dying either, because as we're speaking right now, I'm staring at our booth, and there's 3 kids picking up models, they're looking at them, they're talking to another one of our associates. I've actually given business cards to children today. I've never given a business card to a kid in my life,
Awesome.
but they've come like, where can I buy this?
Yep.
Where can I get this? So I don't think it's dead.
No,
Forget
and,
that.
And I quote back, we've mentioned this at the show, we were at HeritageCon in Hamilton recently.
Yep.
And in the juniors entry, there was this little Ming tune, little tune tanks.
Yeah.
And this little 5-year-old girl had painted up this Sherman. She learned to use an airbrush from her dad in this purple and pink, and it was gorgeous.
Wow.
Absolutely fantastic. I ran into her dad again today. We're going to have her on the show at some point.
Oh, fantastic.
Because again, she loves doing it, and that's it's the future of the hobby. It doesn't have to be an identical. It's what you enjoy.
It absolutely what you enjoy. And so I think you're right. I think the industry has to evolve. It has to change. And if it does that, it will be ultimately be successful.
Definitely.
And I think, and that's why we're here at the show today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I really appreciate it, and thank you again.
Thanks,
All right,
Stuart.
great, Stuart.
All right. As you can see, that was an absolutely awesome interview I had with both of them. It was good to meet with them both. We'll be in correspondence with them in future. We're hoping to do some other exciting things with them. So, also speaking of exciting things and exciting products, let's turn to Super Sanding Box, Goodman Models. You have some other news that came out of TourCam.
Yeah, I was happy to reconnect with Angelo at Sunward Hobbies at Torcan there, and now he's going to be stocking the Super Sanding singles, and he has a
Awesome.
bunch. So look for listings up on his website. He has a great mail order site.
Mm-hmm.
And he did mention something about possibly a future store opening up in the
Yeah,
Greater Toronto
he was
area.
actually quite excited to tell me about that. That's not just a rumor. They are going
Oh,
to be
yeah.
opening one up. I think I heard late July.
Yeah,
So
that's very exciting.
yep.
So I'll probably be down to visit him and do an in-store demo. And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so actually at Sunward, he was carrying the Super Saiyan blocks a while ago, so it was nice to reconnect. And another place you can grab a single if you want to try them out.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I know I was using mine on my Aliens APC project.
Mm-hmm.
That older Halcyon kit just needed a lot of sheet styrene
Yep.
to kind of fill in gaps, and
Yep.
it just didn't want to go together nicely. So
Yeah.
I used a lot of sheet styrene, and when I was trying to just plane in those angles, having the blocks there, just that so I could feel 100% surface contact where I was working, and all the angles came out nice and sharp and beautiful. So I was very happy.
Yeah, no, I love some of the pictures. I love taking a look at it when I was at your place the other week.
Yeah,
it's going to be nice when it's done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along. I actually slapped a bunch of or is it? I think it's an M48 grill on the back,
Yes,
on the
you
back
did.
of it.
Yeah. Very cool. And you
I'll
got the
post a picture.
LEDs in, and it's going to look kick-ass. I think it's going to look very, very good. Okay, so now we're going to start a new feature, and this is based on back a couple of years ago at our local IPMS chapter when Anthony was the executive. We did, what was it, a 2-minute tool time with Anthony, something like that?
The Goodman tool review,
the
tool minute.
The 2-minute Goodman tool review.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of relaunch that concept because imitation
it was a lot of
the
fun.
Sincerest form of flattery. So what have you got tonight to start us off?
All right. Well, I think we should call this Talking Tools.
All right.
Because, I mean, both you and I are kind of tool nuts.
Oh, we're nuts.
And
anytime we go to a show, there could be 28 tables with kits. There could be one table with tools. Where do Anthony and I go first?
Yeah.
With tools.
Yes. So we'll call it Talking Tools. So, the original Goodman Tool Minute, I was just trying to introduce people maybe to different tools or in 1 minute. So I had an official timer just to pique people's curiosity.
And we used to mock them when you went over the minute too.
Yeah, it was hard to get into 1 minute.
It was exciting stuff. Well, here I'm not going to time you, so if you go a little bit over, I'll forgive you. If it goes on,
if it goes short and sweet.
If it goes on for 30 minutes, I'm cutting you off.
A big giant cane, right?
A big
off the
giant
side.
cane comes in. Yeah. Okay, go for it.
But hey, we can we'll try and keep our eye on new tools that are coming out since we're.
And if you have any suggestions, please send them to us.
Yeah, and we can do a quick little review. Sometimes I've noticed I've looked at tools and I'm not sure what they're for.
Yeah.
But I want to know.
Yeah.
And I know I was trying to pass on some of my knowledge about tools originally to maybe you don't know they exist but they could really help you. So tonight I think we can talk about the original FlexiFile.
Yeah.
And that's a great tool. I know you have one. I have one.
Oh, I have like 3. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're
and
awesome.
the FlexiFile, I think, has been actually around for a long time.
Yep.
And what it is it's an aluminum frame, and across the top is like a strip of sandpaper.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes in different grits. But the beautiful thing about the FlexiFile is that you could work on curved surfaces.
Exactly.
And instead of kind of like, planing it down and having a weird lopsided, it would evenly, because it's a sort of a flexible strip, it would follow the contour of your curve. So if you're working on like a plain nacelle or like a part of the Enterprise, you could use that to get around it. And what a cool tool. And that's been around for quite a long time.
Quite a while. Yeah. I use it on, if you go back, I'll have to find the link. Back on my blackfire.ca, my personal weblog, I used it to sand down a barrel from a tank.
Exactly.
I threw the barrel in my cordless drill, made like a cheater lathe, and just threw this across. Yeah, like
Awesome
just like
technique.
I use the sanding blocks for like more square up stuff. I use the
Yeah.
FlexiFiles all the time for fuselages, engines. Yeah, again, this is why I have 3.
Nacelles,
Yeah, I have
bombs,
3 different
fuel
grits.
tanks.
Exactly. Absolutely wonderful. And yeah, you can get them, like I said, from FlexiFile Alpha Abrasives, and you get them in various varieties. They even have 3 packs. You know, I think I bought the 3-in-1 set, which had all
Yep.
3 different frames, and then the different types, different grits of tape in that. They're very easy to change out, but it's nice if you're working, you know, to be able to have, like, you don't have to switch out tapes, and that's what I do.
Yeah,
I
you have
a
multiple
3-pack.
frames. I only have one frame, and then I have like 6 different
Yeah.
tapes. They call them tapes.
Well, I
And
remember.
yeah, you just pinch them on, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Very
they also
easy.
have another really cool flexi file called the Stealth model, and
yes.
it has a 45-degree angle in it, so it lets you get around, you know, bigger or different objects.
I have a feeling we will be coming back to some of their products, because I know, you know, as you say, you have your sanding blocks with them, and you know they're always a very popular vendor. That's where I got mine at a show. I think I got.
Oh yeah,
one of our local shows.
they've been around since 1968.
Yep.
They have so many awesome tools, like just really cool stuff. I always get something. I forgot to mention in our Torcan wrap up, I did pick up a 10-0 brush from FlexiFile.
Yeah, you
so they have a
mentioned
very
something about it,
specific design, and I'm looking forward to trying it out as well.
Yeah, so there's some very cool things. So definitely check those out. We do have a link to FlexiFile's website on the show notes, which you can get at scalemodelpodcast.com, and a lot of local hobby stores. I know in our area they carry up, so they're carried, you know, quite in a few places.
I think they're everywhere.
Yeah, I think they are. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, you can find them in every magazine and definitely online, no problem.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Now we get to what's on the bench. So Battlestar Pegasus, she's actually together now. Got
Nice.
her all done. The flight pod's in. Just doing the final painting. There's some like red stripes that need to be put in, things like that.
Are you gonna paint them or decals?
Paint. Yeah, these ones don't come with decals for those bits. So still some painting to do, like I did on Galactica. So basically get some Tamiya tape, mask it off, shoot a coat through the airbrush. And then I'll put a clear coat on, and then the fun part, get some weathering in place with a lot of washes and oils and stuff like that. And then she'll be done. And then I really don't know what I'm going to work on next. I've got so many good things lately.
Decisions.
I know it's going to be really tough to decide, but you know, I'm still trying to keep to my rule of only 2 projects at a time. So the second project I have is still that Tamiya Lancaster 72nd scale that kind of burnt me out with the photo etch. So I don't know. I might come back to that, but again, there's a lot of choices here. I might go back to an airplane, just something simple again, just to get the mojo back. I've got a ton of, you know, Spitfires and Mosquitoes in various scales, and those are always good fun. You can knock out one pretty good. So, yeah. How about you?
Well, I've been just plugging away on some figures. I have a driver figure for the M577 Aliens APC, and then I was trying to figure out painting techniques for the crew of the MIFE. And so I've been playing with that. It's coming along. And then as soon as I get this figure, I can add them in. I'm going to put some magnets inside the APC and then button it up. I can finish painting it and load it up with some stowage, and it should be very close at that point.
Very cool. Good stuff. Okay, we're just going to be wrapping up soon. Our sites and tips. I found this one, a couple of sites on Facebook. This is an upcoming documentary. As you know, we've talked about models for heroes and various things like that to help how model builders can help soldiers, ex-veterans, and that with post-traumatic stress disorder and stuff like that. So this is a documentary coming out in November, and that's out of England, and it's called Piece by Piece. And it's going to be talking about a former Challenger tank driver, Peter Cosgrove. He suffered foot and leg injuries during an operation in Afghanistan in 2009. He was diagnosed with combat-related PTSD in 2013, but he's rediscovered model making, how it allows him to relax his mind and focus on his mental health. As part of this process, he has begun volunteering for Models for Heroes, as we talked about. A charity with the aim of promoting the hobby to veterans on the road to recovery. And we've seen similar organizations both here in Canada and the U.S. So this looks like it's going to be an interesting movie. Again, coming out in coming out in November. So I'm hoping to reach out. I'm going to reach out to the contact on the film and see if I can get someone in for an interview before
that'd be
November.
great.
So there is a Facebook page you can follow. I definitely recommend you actually do that, and because again, it just shows some of the good things that model making can do. It is a very good hobby for relaxing in many ways. We all talk about sometimes getting stressed about putting a tiny piece of photo etch, but for many people that's how one relaxes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it can definitely help you focus and get your head out of, if you're worried about work or personal issues, it lets you focus on something else and kind of relax your mind. So
exactly,
people are feeling that.
Right. Okay. Well, that's it for this wrap up. As I say, we've got some Torcan photos already up on the Facebook page, and I'll be posting probably a photo gallery with the show notes with some additional photos and things like that. So don't forget to subscribe. Let us know if you have any comments or suggestions at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. We do record bi-weekly, and they're available where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. We have a Facebook page. Oh, before I forget, speaking of Facebook page, we got a message today from one of our number one fans in Australia, didn't we?
We did, that's right.
Yes,
Mr. Ray Davies, who's the winner of our first annual super mega humongous Super Saiyan Blocks giveaway.
So big it took like 3 months to get there.
Finally received.
Yes.
His prize in the mail.
He was nice enough to send us a quick email. He's been busy with some other stuff happening in his life, but that's fine. So we're glad you enjoy them. We're looking forward to seeing what you think of them, Ray. So
we're looking forward to your projects, and we hope they're very helpful in working on your models.
Exactly. So we also, as I say, we do publish extra video content on our YouTube channel, and there is our Patreon page at patreon.com/scalemodelpodcast. And just a shout out for our friends who do a modeling podcast called On the Bench out of Australia. And they, just like us, publish every fortnight or every 2 weeks, but they go on the off week that we do. So you get your modeling fix every week. So that's pretty awesome. As I say, a great group of guys down there with their show. Definitely check out some of their Facebook pages as well.
It's great to listen to when you're working away.
Exactly.
It's better than watching TV or something.
Exactly. I want to give a shout out to Ian because he got that Japanese 350th scale aircraft carrier done, and he's been working on that for months. And we may,
nice job.
Between us and his co-host, we've all been mocking him a little bit, but it looks bloody gorgeous. So a
great job.
A shout out there. So that's absolutely awesome. Okay, so that's it. So for episode 21 of the Scale Model Podcast, my name is Stuart Clark.
And this is Anthony Goodman.
Thank you, and be well.